Hey, it's Michelle Dale here from Virtual Miss Friday. We are inside this video series called And Then She Woke Up because it's part of my program And Then She Woke Up, where I work one-on-one with people, but also I try to give you as many tips as I can through these videos to kind of give you an indication of things that we need to work on in order for you to have the life that you truly want. Now, what we're going to talk about in this video is old identity purging. So self-concept, which we've talked about in another video, you can go and watch that video, is very much about who you are identifying as, who you want to be. I'm rich, I'm successful, I'm beautiful, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I'm all that good stuff. But the problem is the old identity will try to still hang on, even though you're saying all that new stuff, and keep saying it and keep repeating it until it's ingrained in you and you just suddenly step into that person and it's done. But the old identity will still try and cling on and hang on. And what you have to do technically is purge that old identity. You have to make an effort to do this. It feels like, manifestation in itself is effortless. We've talked about that already, about how you're basically being guided and given the things you need, and creation is just doing everything around you. The only person that's making it exhausting is you, because you don't fully trust or have not fully stepped into your other identity that has it all. So how do you do that? Well, I personally, again, this is all my own experiences, my personal experiences. I had to do a lot of purging of my old identity that kept trying to creep in and tell me things that were not true. And they were not true because they were in the 3D, not from the 4D, which I was creating the new stuff from. So remember, the truth is in your imagination. The truth is in the 4D. The reality is the 4D. Stop seeing the 3D as your reality. Start seeing your true truth of reality as the 4D, and the 3D is just the old reality from the old identity still playing out. Okay? So it's a little bit of a lag in the movie. But how do you purge that old identity? Well, you've got to go on a strict diet of remembering the new identity, a strict diet of reacting as the new identity. And if you don't, you've got to rethink it and think, okay, well, how would I have reacted as the new identity? So it's about your reactions. It's about remembering. It's about refusing to accept the 3D as it is, refusing to accept it as this is what's happening now. What's happening now is what you've created in your 4D, and what you say is happening now in your 4D, in your imagination. If you don't know about dimensions, go back to that video. It's basically, I'm telling you, I'm begging you, do not fold from the new identity. Do not give in to the old identity. That is all you have to do, is stay strong, stay the course. If you find yourself thinking things that are out of alignment, if you find yourself worrying, fear, anxiety, all those low level, low vibration, like icky things that you don't want, if you find yourself making decisions from them, or thinking stories from them, or having conversations in your mind from that, that's your old identity. Okay? And you've got to recognize that. And you've got to do one of two things. You tell it literally to F off. No, go away, not listening to you. Or you simply say, it doesn't matter. I've done both, depending on how upset I am with my old identity. Why are you coming back? But it's really about that. So you either just basically decide it doesn't matter. Oh, that happened. She said that. That's not what I want. That hurt me. Doesn't matter. It's just it's the old real. We didn't change the scene yet. The scene hasn't changed, but it's already coming because the movie's already made. We know the new scene is coming, but the old one is still there. So another thing you have to do is really try to respond as your new identity, react as your new identity, remember that you are the new identity, remind yourself how this ends. You wouldn't be worrying. Like, if you know the movie ends fantastically, exactly as you want it, and you trust that, and you're patient, then you wouldn't worry about the middle of the movie. If you knew, for example, there was going to be a very good ending and somebody was going to go on and live and have a wonderful, happy, long life and go to a ripe old age, yet they got sick in the movie at the age of 10, you would not be worried that they're not going to live, because you already know the end and they live to a ripe old age and they have a great life and they ended the movie on a great life. You wouldn't be worried and panicking that the 10-year-old in the movie, like Benjamin Button, that was going to die, because you know that they're alive at the end of the movie and they're old. And it's kind of like that. It really is kind of like that. And you've got to purge the identity that's telling you something bad's going to happen and the 10-year-old's going to die. Because the new identity is going, no, remember they're alive at the end of the movie. Or this doesn't matter, this sickness, because they're alive and happy at the end of the movie. Doesn't matter. And if they're going at you, no, we've got to worry about this. Fuck off. What are you talking about? It's kind of like that. Remind yourself. Remember it's already done. Remember the end of the movie. React from the space of knowing what the end is. React as the person who knows what the end is. You'd be like, oh. Be the new identity as much as you can. You've really got to stay in that, and you've got to learn to purge that old identity. Saying things like, it doesn't matter, old story, old news, yesterday's news, I know the end. Remember, you know what the end is. That's not me anymore. I don't do that anymore. I'm this person now. Remember. Like, this is how you purge the old identity. Purge. And if you look at what you're doing and how you're showing up in life, and if you sat there with me and had a conversation and said, well, this happened with my SP, or, you know, like, this happened at work, or the bill didn't get paid, we're gonna have a look at your movie and find out what you were telling yourself about it. Because somewhere in there, you changed the script. So the ending that was planned for the movie didn't happen yet, because you can change it back again. That's the wonderful thing. Nothing's permanent. You never actually got anything. You never actually mess up to the point where you can't get what you want. No. You can change it in an instant, but you've got to follow the steps and stay true to them. It's really, really important. So old identity purging. Several things to do there. A lot of them yours. Remember, remind, respond, react as a new identity. Keep understanding that everything that is happening out there, it doesn't matter, because you're rewriting it. It only matters if it's something you want. And then you feed it. You give it life. You give it energy. You focus on it. You think about it all the time, about how wonderful it is and how thankful you are for it and how grateful you are for it. And you've got to do the same thing and have the same energy for the things that you can't yet see out there. That is trust. That is just submitting to trust. And once you do that, your life will change. It's your choice. It's your choice. The willpower that you need is not out there. It's not willpower to do something out there. It's the willpower to stay in the identity and refuse to accept anything else. Old identity purging. Do that. If you want to work with me, everything's in the description. Join Virtual CoWorking Space. Love to see you in there. And we will meet again soon in the next video.